Well, good morning, my Teaser King family. How is everybody today? Yes, we did have San Antonio and we did win. Okay. So let's take a look at it. We've got gold 4069, but I think we bottomed out. I think that's it. I think we're ready. Silver 6411. Yes, I know both are way down, but it's planned, it's manipulated, and I think that's it. Everybody wants gold to go higher. Don't kid yourself. The 8 billion banks are all long on their books, as Alligator McLeod or Mark McGuire says. They all want gold higher because they have gold. Right? The paper gold crowd is just playing options. Oh, we'll short it. Oh, okay, went down. Okay, now we'll go long. Okay. I got a good video for you that should calm everybody down. Yes, it is low. Yes, I am trying to sell something to get some cash in, which will happen soon. 40.77. It is the 10 o'clock drop, and it's at 10:30. So I think we've hit it at 40.58, but now I think we're going to get back to 41. Silver should probably climb to 66 today. I think it finally broke its streaks, and you know how I am with streaks, and I think it's gone down, 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 down because there's options they needed to get out of. People wanted to buy gold, and now I think we've got that $4,000, and that's it. And everybody's like, okay, that's enough, and now they're going to buy because it was $5,000. You killed it to 4,000. Now you're going to go long on it, because that's the way options work. Let me get my coffee. So I think again, knowing how options work, you shorted them, you made money, and now you can see, hey, let's go the other way. And now it's low. This 200-day moving average is strictly for paper, doesn't mean anything. The more idiots I watch on YouTube, the dumber they get. Although there's one guy that we'll watch today. Anyway, so 40.83. I feel better. I can get a 43, 4,400 soon. The 64.05. All right, let's talk about this NBA. Well, wait, let me go through my baseball and then we'll talk NBA. So baseball, Yankees under 8 was the free pick, and it was 8-4, which I think I don't understand. I got to look at the pictures. We had Rondon, who has been pitching well, versus Cleveland pitcher who's been pitching well, Messick. Messick gives up 5 runs in 5 innings with the 2.6 ERA. Again, we get a little full. John C. Hello. So we lose that. We do have Boston over 7.5. They lose 7-5. That was good. The 49ers over 8. They win 11-10. Deisman had a big day. Cincinnati over 8. That wins 5-4 San Diego. Now we're rolling. We got Baltimore. They win 7-2. Their pitcher was hot. The Twins beat the Tigers 6-4. That was a surprise. We had Detroit there, and that shows us never to trust Detroit. We have the Dodgers, and I can't believe they lost. They had a 6-7-1 lead. They lose 9-8 to the Pirates in the last inning. We don't play. Miami wins 8-0. We don't play because we don't know who the hell Arizona is. Philadelphia, we do not play, but we pick it. So they win, but no bet. The Cardinals and the JETSs, we don't play. The Cardinals win 9-2. Again, the Mets aren't hitting. The White Sox 2, Atlanta 1. We have Atlanta under 7.5. That was a winner. That was 3 units. Again, it was Dean Martin against Chris Sale, and probably the easiest play of the day. We have the Cubbies over 12, and we don't know. And the Cubbies don't go over 12. They lose 3-2. And then Milwaukee, we have over 14, and they lose. Oh, the Cubbies we didn't play. The Cubbies were like Philly. So we go 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, 5-3, 5-4. So another winning day, and we should have made money because we did win the 3 unit. Even 2, 4, 6, 4, 2, 5. We make 3 units. Okay, well, 5 and 4 make 3 units. Happy with that. That was baseball yesterday. ATK, biggest choke ever. Spurs. They need to fire their coach. And they got to – Winnebago has no idea what he's doing on the court. Spurs got to feed him the ball. He sky hooks it, and you never have a run against you, and 29 points. But even better, let's look at the last shot of the game. Let's go back to 10 seconds, and let's see what the fuck they did. All right. Even with the worst coach right? And we're going to show you this one. This is a good video. This guy, I don't know too well, but he seems to Ed Steer. I think I've heard of him. All right, but let's go. Okay, let's go to the last. This is the last. This is the game, but we're going to go to the last 2 minutes. Now, the key play comes when San Antonio gets the rebound with about 12 seconds left. Why is the guy trying to score? With Walmart summer style, the guy should have just dribbled the ball out, right? Absolutely unbelievable. And I'm getting, why am I getting no internet? I got to wait for my internet.
In game 3, particularly just getting his hands on the basketball. Devin Vassell knocks down the 3-pointer. In terms of
Okay, we're going to watch the last 3 minutes. Well, we're going to try to watch the last 3 minutes.
corner 3, Anunoby. within. Shot clock at 8. Fox gets into the paint. Kicks it out. Vassell goes left side. Fox, a three-pointer's good. Big bucket from De'Aaron Fox. Big-time shot right there by Fox to quell his momentum. Alvarado pulls back, spins, gets inside. Layup, banks it home. Wimbiana's back.
Okay, where was Winnebago on that one? Why did he leave the lane and allow a layup? Okay, this is first thing on the coach. Winnebago, you need to stay in the lane. Where are you going? You are 7'4". You would have blocked that shot. You're winning by 7. This is the championship game, championship series, and where are you on that play? Why are you not staying in the lane and blocking that shot? Where are you wandering off to? Your job at 7'4" is to stay in the lane. I don't know if there's defensive 3 seconds anymore or not. You could have hung around the lane, but you got to read the play. As the guy's coming and dribbling, you slide over and you block that shot. That shot should never have scored. Do I think it was fixed? Absolutely not. If it was, think about it. What does NBC want? They want 7 games, or ABC. The league wants a 7-game series, right? They're selling tickets for $10,000. They want 7 games. They did not want New York to win that. They wanted it 2-2, and San Antonio wins, and then New York wins, and then Game 7. They want a 7-game series if it's fixed. Secondly, it wasn't fixed because I had San Antonio plus 2.5, and I actually got a winner on that one. So couldn't have been fixed. That's the last thing they wanted was this. San Antonio had a 29-point lead, so it was not fixed. There was nothing. San Diego collapsing did not do anything. Again, the line was 2.5. They won. They covered. So for it to be fixed, well, I guess if you bet New York, but the money wasn't really going on New York. Okay, so where does Winnebago go on that drive? Why isn't he making the play? All right.
The NBA's clutch player of the year had a clutch shot in Game 3. Fox on the drive. Wembanyama puts up the jumper.
Why is he out there shooting that shot?
He missed 9 of 10 shots, and it's back up to 7. Brunson double team finds Alvarado to Towns. Thrown him out of 3. Shot clock at 6. Brunson looks up at the clock. Finds Alvarado. Open look. Alvarado three-pointer. It's good. Brunson with Wemby on in. Drives, pulls back. Shot clock at 5. Brunson fires up a 3. Puts it in. 1-point game.
Again, why is Winnebago out there? And if he's out there, why isn't he blocking the shot? Why isn't he under the basket? That, again, the coach fucks up. You need a Dennis Rodman, a John Saley, Isaiah guarding Brunson, not Winnebago. He's too slow. He obviously couldn't do any of it. He needs to be under the basket grabbing rebounds and blocking shots, not out at the three-point line. That's ridiculous. A fast guy like Isaiah would have hand-checked him, and he wouldn't even have got the shot off. Isaiah was one of the fastest defensive players. There is no way Brunson would have got the shot off with a guy like Isaiah or Rodman on him. We're San Antonio's defensive players. Winnebago's job is under the basket. He's Kareem. He's Wilt. He's not 30 feet from the basket. He's under the basket, grabbing rebounds and deflecting shots, not out at the three-point. And he didn't do anything anyway. But again, he made the shot from past the foul line. He should not be anywhere near more than 5 feet from the basket. If you would have fed him the ball and he had a sky hook, there's no way the Knicks could have come back because you'd have fed him, he'd have sky hooked, he'd have made it, and then you'd keep the 29-point lead. I turned it on. I watched the first half. I turned on a movie and it was too boring. And I turned it on and it's 90-75. And I go, well, I'm getting 2.5. The game's over, which it should have been. You're letting the guy who's hitting all the 3-pointers, you're not guarding him. You got to have somebody on him. Just a bunch of 3-point shooting, the Knicks. Just a miracle that. But the keys are Winnebago not staying under the basket, allowing the layup, and Winnebago not dominating deep inside, shooting these 3-point shots. So either Winnebago's the stupidest player in the world or the coach is the stupidest coach in the world. You betting the World Cup? Nope. The tickets are so high nowadays. Is that inflation? No, that's the market. The market, inflation's the money being printed. The prices are the market. So the fact that the dollars are worth less does not determine the price. So these were secondhand tickets at the game, basketball game yesterday, right? So they were secondhand, meaning that they probably sold them for a few hundred, maybe $1,000 for the ticket from the Garden. Then on the secondhand thing, they were going for I think about $4,000. And that as it gets closer to game time and people don't want to pay, they probably go down to $1,000, but they don't want to tell you that. I saw a lot of fake celebrities at the Adam Sandler, who cares, Jerry Seinfeld, Larry David. But the guy I was most than was John McEnroe was sitting next to Larry David. I was shocked by that. Spike Lee, who cares? Chris Rock, who cares? What the fuck was that girl doing there? I thought she was Kelsey's girlfriend. So now what? She's just going to go to the big events and show up and nobody gives a fuck who she is. Taylor Swift. I mean, give me a break. Yeah. So I'm sure that made it, who cares? I mean, do you really care? The only one I liked was Jack Nicholson. Now, when he was there, that was good. Otherwise, yeah, who cares? Okay, so let's go back to this. It is now 104-103 with 2:17 left. But wait, the best happens with 10 seconds left.
Shot clock at 6. Castle on him now. Brunson, stutter dribble, drives inside, goes up, floaters up. It's gone. The Knicks take the lead.
I'm sorry, where was Winnebago on that one? Why didn't he go up and knock the ball down? What the fuck is Winnebago doing? He's standing in the lane and he goes and he doesn't block the shot. What is wrong with this guy? Is he an idiot? Does he have like a single-digit IQ? Or is it the coach fucking him up? That ball should have been blocked. Let's look at it again.
Shot clock at 5. Brunson fires up a 3. Pumps it in. 1-point game.
It's this play.
Castle on him now. Brunson, stutter dribble, drives inside, goes up, floaters up. It's gone.
Where's Winnebago? He's standing in the lane. He should be blocking that shot. Where is he? Where's the coach? What the fuck's going on there? How do you not block that shot? You're 7'4". Your only job is to not let anybody shoot in the lane, and yet where is he? Unbelievable.
22 remaining. Two clutch free throws. Crossover, drives, goes inside, pulls back, picks it out in the corner. Brunson gets it back. Brunson on the drive, the floater's up. Shot won't go.
See, now there's Winnebago. Okay, right here. What is this guy doing?
Fox has it inside, blocked by Anunoby.
What is he doing? There's 12 seconds left. Why did he shoot? Anybody? McFly? Bueller? Anybody? Why did he shoot there? You have 12 seconds left. I believe it's still a 24-second clock, although I don't know anymore. What is he doing? Now, look what happened. Winnebago stayed in the lane, and he blocks the shot. To my point. The ball comes out. What the fuck is the San Antonio guy doing? You got a 1-point lead. You don't need your basket. You have a 1-point lead. You got that ball. You need to turn around and dribble around and get fouled and make your 2 free throws. You do not need that. That reminds me of a football game when the guy scores a touchdown and you leave like a minute on the clock, and then the other team goes down and scores. What are you doing? You run the clock out. Same thing here. It's the Raider Miami game, right? 74, and Benny Malone scores and leaves a minute or 2 minutes for Stabler to go down and make the hands catch. What is he doing? Go down, run the clock out, kick your field goal, win the game. That you're playing to win. There is no way this idiot should have taken the shot. What are you doing? You have a 1-point lead and 12 seconds. Run the 12 seconds out. Even if you just dribble around and get fouled, you're going to take 4 or 5 seconds away. You could have easily dribbled it back to half court or dribbled around, let them foul you. You set your defense, and you've made your free throws. You're up 3. You can't lose. And now they've got and they have to make the miracle 3-pointer. Instead, they didn't have to make a 3-pointer because you fucked up. You tried to make a layup with 12 seconds left that you had no business making. Now, is that the coach's fault? Absolutely. Is it the player's fault? Absolutely. You wouldn't see Bill Lambert. Well, yeah, you did see Isaiah make that play, but you wouldn't see Magic Johnson or Larry Bird do that, right? So now, not only did you not run the clock out, which is if you run 12 seconds off, you win, you take a shot immediately. It gets blocked. So you don't even run some time off and get fouled and make your free throws. And then you can't lose. You'd be up 3. What the fuck is this guy doing? Let's enjoy this moment one more time.
Two clutch free throws. Crossover drive.
You look at Winnebago here, right? Winnebago gets there's what he should have been doing.
Shot won't go, rebound deflected in the backcourt. Fox doesn't get it. Fox has it inside, blocked by Anunoby.
What are you doing, Fox?
9 seconds remaining. They might just go flat for Jalen Brunson, allow him to operate at the top, 101. Brunson gets
Where's Winnebago? What's he doing?
Shot no good. The tip, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
Where's Winnebago? Why is he out? Why isn't he not under the basket, not grabbing the rebound and winning the game as he should have been? What is he doing? These people do not understand basketball. You have a 7'4" guy. He stays under the basket and gets rebounds and blocks shots. The earlier one, the guy made the basket, and then here the guy drives and he blocks it, setting up. Now, if the guy's smart enough and doesn't try to dunk it or lay up and just dribbles around, eating up 5-6 seconds, he probably would have eaten up 4 or 5 seconds. They would have followed him, but he didn't need to try to dunk it, right? Yeah, well, maybe if you could dunk it, he should have gotten fouled, but he should have dribbled around, right? Because time is more important than the score. Even if you make it, you're up 3. And then where's Winnebago? So keep your eyes on Winnebago on this last shot. Why is he out at the 3-point line? Do you not understand you're 7'4"? I'm sorry. Do you not get basketball? Like if you're 7'4", you block shots, you grab rebounds, you stay by the basket. Do you not understand that? You did it on the last shot by the guy. The guy goes and he blocks it, setting up the whole fast break. But that's the point. That's what you do. Stay there. Why is he now out at the 3 guarding their best player? Why? Anybody? Bueller, McFly, anybody understand what the fuck he's doing? Because this isn't basketball. This is idiotic. The coach, I would have fired him right there. I just said, you're too stupid to win. You had a 29-point lead. You have Winnebago. What the fuck are you doing? So this coach needs to be fired because he doesn't understand you has a 7'4" guy who's going to stay in the paint and block shots and grab rebounds. That's what he does when you're 7'4". On the other side, he should never be taking 3-point shots. He got lucky to make the shot by the foul line. I guess he missed a lot in the fourth quarter because when you have a dominant Kareem skyhook, you could have just fed him the ball and he's either going to get fouled or make a skyhook, and the game they would have won by 20. So you got a big problem with the coach and Winnebago not understanding what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, well, the coach doesn't get it either. All right, let's watch this again.
With 1.2 remaining, Knicks take the lead. OG Allen.
So focus on Winnebago.
Gets it back. Runs it on the drive. The floater's up. Shot won't go. Rebound deflected.
Okay, so this guy should not be shooting.
Fox has it inside. Blocked by Anunoby. 9 seconds.
And then Winnebago should be under the basket. Why is Winnebago out at the top?
Shot no good. The tip, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. With 1.2 remaining.
I'm sorry. San Antonio wins the game easy if Winnebago learns the skyhook. If he box Brunson's shot, and then if the other guy, Fox, just dribbles the ball, dribbles the timeout until he gets fouled, makes his 2 free throws, they're up 3, they can't lose. And then why is he out near the 3-point shot at the end, letting the guy who threw the ball in, nobody picks him up. He goes to where's Winnebago there? Winnebago needs to be under the basket. You're 7'4". What the fuck are you doing? Will Chamberlain would have grabbed that rebound, and Bill Russell, the guy, wouldn't have got within 5 feet of the ball. And you let the guy just tip the ball in. If you were there, you would have, A, where was the block out? And B, Winnebago would have grabbed the rebound. Instead, he's sitting out by the 3-point line. And why is you taking a long shot? You need a 2-pointer. The Knicks. Don't you have anybody on defense, San Antonio? You don't have anybody that can guard their guard. I keep forgetting his name. What are you doing? Why is Winnebago more than 5 feet from the basket at all times, especially in the fourth quarter, especially when you're down 2-1. Now you're down 3-1. You just lost the series. We will bet heavily on San Antonio in game 5 because the Knicks are spent. And then they'll win game 6, and that'll be it because Jerry Seinfeld will be there, and Larry David and John McEnroe. I hate Ben Stiller. I can live with the other guy, Johnny McEnroe. There's another guy like there. I can't think of him. But McEnroe should have been out there yelling. That's what we wanted to see. It was McEnroe yelling. Looked like he came with Larry David. Looked like he was sitting next to him. I like how he wears the hat, so you don't know it's Johnny McEnroe. Like, come on, man. What the fuck? So why is this guy still coaching? This guy shows he has no clue how to coach. What I just witnessed, when I looked at like 11:30, and I just wanted to see how the game ended on Yahoo. That's all I looked at. I'm sorry. I didn't know they were down 29. You've got Winnebago. You don't lose 29-point leads when you got Winnebago. But when Winnebago wants to shoot a bunch of 3-point shots because he's too fucking stupid to realize he's 7'4", okay, you got to get away from the 3-point shot. You don't need it now. You've got the lead. You're just trying to get baskets. Where was the big defense? Why is Winnebago constantly running around instead of just staying in the paint on defense, blocking the shots and grabbing the rebounds? What the fuck is he doing? Then you leave their best 3-point shooter alone. How do you leave him alone? Somebody needs to be on him. You got to play man on man. You are guarding this 3-point shot. You've got to guard Brunson. And Winnebago, you stay under the basket because if they break it, you block the shot, right? Then they can't make it. Very simple. So we saw 3 shots in the paint he wasn't there on, and he didn't block. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't think he has a basketball IQ. He does not understand he's 7'4", and the coach needs to be fired. We needed to fire him after last game. So this is like the second game he screwed up. They should have won game 2 in San Antonio. They did win game 3. They should have won this one with a 29-point lead. If he has any clue what the fuck you got Winnebago at 7'4", keep him in the paint, and you just stand here and block shots. If I'm the coach, I'm tying a rope around the basket, right? The thing that holds the basket up, that arm, then it goes up, right? I'm tying a rope around it about 5 feet. And I said, Winnebago, this is as far away as you're getting. I don't want you at the 3-point line. I don't want you guarding Brunson. He's too fast for you. I don't want him on Brunson. I want Isaiah Thomas on him. I want Dennis Rodman on him. Fast guys who are faster than him. That's why the Pistons won. They had Isaiah was the fastest defensive player you ever saw in your life. And Dennis Rodman. Who's your Dennis Rodman? Where is he? Where's your defensive player? That's why you need a defensive player and all this 3-point shit. You need a defensive player to guard that guy who was hitting all the 3-point shots. I don't even know his name. Brunson, I forget half the time. You need to double team him. You need to double team him and leave Winnebago under the basket. So if somebody gets open, Winnebago's just going to slap the ball away. What are you doing? I didn't see what they did on offense. They didn't show me much of San Antonio's offense. What were you doing? You get the ball to Winnebago and let him dunk. What the fuck? So I don't know what San Antonio was doing, not scoring. But anyway, just a horrible display. We'll watch it one more time just for fun.
It's easy to start selling on Depop.
Tired of dealing with a leaky basement or musty crawl space? Join the countless homeowners who trust Foundation Restaurant. In Game 3, particularly just getting his hands on the basketball.
All right, let's watch this final minute one more time.
2 clutch free throws. Crossover drives, goes inside, pulls back. Picks it out in the corner. Brunson gets it back. Brunson on the drive. The floater's up. Shot won't go. Rebound deflected in the backcourt.
Dribble the ball. Don't do that. Dribble. Oh, my God.
They might just go flat for Jalen Brunson. Allow him to...
Winnebago under the basket.
Shot no good. The tip, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. With 1.2 remaining. Let's take the lead. OG Nobi, and it's 107. 9 seconds remaining. They might just go flat for Jim.
Winnebago under the basket. He's at half court.
Gets it, fires up a 3. Shot no good. The tip, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
Why is Winnebago at half court? I'm losing my mind. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. They deserve to lose. They deserve. Okay. So I can't show this anymore as it's giving me a warning here. Tennis sucks. I don't watch tennis. Macron. Oh, well, yeah, Macron is good. Okay. So what the fuck did I just watch? All right. So let's go to baseball. So a pretty good day yesterday. Detroit surprisingly lost. The Yankees, with 2 good pitchers, went 9 when it was a high-scoring game. All right, let's go to covers. 6-11. And let's take a look. So we got St. Louis at the Mets. Yeah, well, because I showed it so many times, I wasn't getting copy. But last time, nothing happened. I don't get blocked. They just like won't allow that to be showed, but I don't care. But no, there's nothing wrong. Okay, we can end this warning. All right, I get it. Okay, there we go. Warning gone. Okay, so again, very stupid coaching, very stupid player, but this is what we're running into in baseball and football. This whole Lamar thing, Jalen Hurts, all these terrible players, and we're running into this terrible coaching, and especially in baseball, we're running into a lot of minor league players. We see I mean, this coach sucked for San Antonio, but we see it in baseball all the time. The guy, he pulls skeins and gives up 10 runs the next inning. What are you pulling skeins for? Why is 100 pitches like the max? Not for me. You're pitching 8 innings. If it goes 150 pitches, strengthen up. You're professional. We're paying you $20-30 million. Yeah, you need to go 8 innings. And we need a Dennis Eckersley or a whatchamacallit, the guy in the Rivera. We need that type of closer. And enough with all these bullpen guys. Because that's what the count does, right? The pitch count makes the other team walk and foul balls off. If you don't have a pitch count, now you got to hit. It doesn't matter. They just gave a Mahomes. Who's Holmes? Mahomes. A new contract. Why did they didn't he just sign a new contract? But if you're going to give it to somebody, Mahomes and Burrow are the two to give it to. What they need to do is get rid of Kelsey, and then they won't have Taylor Swift there, so that'll be good. All right. We start off 1:10. It's 11 o'clock. All right, we got 2 and 9. We got Dobbins 6.75 going against Scott with the 2.5. Are these guys for real or what? St. Louis cards. No. Scott for the JETSs. Nope, I don't see either of these guys. Dobbins 6.75. Hunter Dobbins. He's pitched in 3 games. Last year he had a 4.13 ERA. He's mostly a starter. This year 2.77. He's won all 3 games. April 30th, May 30th, and June 5th. 4 innings, 3 runs, 3 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 4-hit shutout against Cincinnati. We don't have enough info on this. This guy's probably a 4 ERA pitcher. And against the JETSs, Scott with the 2.50. The Mets are 140 and a total of 9. Christian Scott. He's a starter. Last 5. 4 innings 2, 4 innings 3, 5 innings 0, 5 innings 1, 5 innings 0. So the last 3 were 0-1-0, but he only goes 5 innings, and he's in the 90s. So 2 bad outings where he gave up 3 runs, but he only seems to go 4 innings. He seems to walk a couple guys, and so he's about a 90 pitcher, walks a couple of guys. 3 runs to Washington and 3 runs to California. Otherwise, they beat San Diego 5-0, Miami 6-1, lost to Miami 4-0. So he throws a 5-inning shutout, and they lose 4-0. The relievers came in, so they didn't score for him. So that's the JETSs. Good God, I don't know. My guess, two bad pitchers. I'm going to let this one pass. I'll take a pass. Arizona and Miami. Today's Thursday. Oh, so we probably have half a schedule. Miami minus 115, 8.5. Kelly for Arizona, 574. Phillips for Miami, 338. What's going on here? Kelly. The only Kelly I know is Kelly's Heroes, and they took all the gold. We'll get to the gold video. Kelsey's a Cavs fan. I thought he was an Oklahoma fan. Wasn't he from Oklahoma or something? He didn't go to Ohio State. Kelly, he won 4 in a row and lost 2, lost 3. He's all over the board. His last 5, he pitched 9 innings, gave up 4 hits and 1 run. Good boy. 6 innings, 3 runs, 7 innings, 2, 5 innings, 2, 5 innings, 7. So he has 1 good game. He gave up 8, 5, and 6 earlier, and then 7 to Washington. I guess Washington can hit. It's in the 90s pitch-wise and a lot of walks most of the time. So Merrill Kelly on Arizona, 5.74 ERA. So this is the problem. It's an average, so sometimes he shuts you out. Sometimes he gives up 5 runs. Hence the average. Miami minus 115, 8.5. Tony Phillips, 3.38 ERA. Tyler Phillips, they got him with the Philadelphia hat on. No streak. He's a bullpen guy. Well, he's weird. He does, let's see, 18 games. He started 2 with a 2.08 ERA. Is that real? No, that's not. That's bullshit. The last game he pitched 4 innings, gave up 3 runs. How can he have a 2 ERA? So his we can't even really go last 5. Let's go last 5. He pitched 2 innings, gave up a run. He pitched 3 innings, gave up a run. He pitched 3 innings, gave up nothing. And then 5 innings, 3 runs, 4. So this guy does not have a 2.08 ERA. So this is who? The Miami. Again, I don't know Arizona enough or Miami enough. They're too inconsistent. Let's pass. Detroit at Minnesota. Detroit 125 and 9.5. This Montero guy. And Montero, Valdez lost yesterday, so he's 6-1 loser. Montero has got 5 losses in a row for the Tigers. But let's see if it's 6. Yep, it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Montero is 6. His last 5. He gives up 4 runs in 4 innings, 3 runs in 5 innings, 4 runs in 5 innings, a shutout in 6 innings, and 4. So I don't know. So he got lucky once. This guy stinks. And let's see if Zebby Matthews is any good. The Zebber from North Carolina. They come up with those names in North Carolina, don't they? He's only pitched 5 games, 7, 6, 6, 4, and 7 innings. A shutout, 2, 3, 7, 2. 7 was to Pittsburgh, which they got a killer lineup. What do we do with the Zebber? Well, Montero's been playing bad, over 9.5. What was the score yesterday? I know Minnesota won. Let's see. Minnesota won 6-4, hitting Valdez. Miami won 8-0 over Arizona. Texas 6-4 over KC. Colorado 3-2. Cubs aren't hitting. And St. Louis isn't hitting. Oakland 4-3. That's amazing. So what was the Tigers? I think it was 6-4. Yeah, 6-4 Minnesota. So Montero gives up runs. Zebby with the 4. I gotta review that. What the fuck happened here? All right. So he's been pitching the last month. Shutout 2-3-7-2. So he's going to give up 3 or 4 runs to Detroit. Montero 3 or 4. 9.5 is kind of high. And Montana's lost. Do we take Minnesota? The Zebber. I'm going to take a pass on this, Bennett. It's like the other day. I didn't find a whole lot. I like Minnesota, but I don't know if I like Zebby Matthews. And Montero is on a 6-game losing streak, so he's going to lose. And then Detroit sometimes hit and sometimes doesn't. And Minnesota's got a pretty good hitting team. All right, I think I'm going to go the only way I can here. And we will see. 2 bad pitchers, so we'll see. Texas KC. KC 106, 10.5. Jesus Christ. Rocker with the 408 against Waka with the 344. Why is this 10.5? Kumar Rocker. Is this guy a bullpen guy? Nope, he's actually, well, he's kind of. Last 5, 5 innings shutout, 7 innings shutout, 5 innings 4, 6 innings shutout, 5 innings 2 runs. So this guy is pretty good there, Kumar. He's on Texas. And Waka. I don't know what he does. Oh, he's lost 5 in a row. Waka goes into our list. Do I have Waka 5 in a row? Nope, we got to add him. But as far as totals, 3 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 6 runs, 5 runs. So judging this again, Rocker's pretty good. Waka's 5 in a row and 10.5. I would say under, but Waka's been giving up a lot of runs lately. All right, don't love it. We're still hunting for our free pick. The Bears minus 142.11. Again, this high number. Last time it was what, a 3-run game, and it was 12 or something. Cabrera for the Bears 504. Feltner for Denver 422. Let's see, Cabrera. So based on these ERAs, we might get to 11, but the Cubs aren't hitting. No streak. Let's see. This guy's trouble. 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 innings, 5 runs, 4 innings, 3 runs, 2 innings, or 3 innings, 4 runs, 3 innings, 8 runs. This Cabrera sucks. But is Feltner any better? And yet Cabrera is the favorite in the game. Feltner, is he real? Yeah, 4 innings, 6 runs, 5 innings, 3 runs, 2 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings shutout, 6 innings, 1 run. So his last 4 have been go out. One was 2 innings, 2 innings, 2 runs, but then it was 5 innings, 3, 6 innings shutout, 6 innings, 1. In the 2-inning game, he pitched 40 pitches in 2 innings. Good God. Okay, so his last 4 are okay. He had 1 bad game against San Diego. Otherwise, he shut out San Francisco and then beat Milwaukee. Well, they lost, but he had 6 innings, 1 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 run. They pull him after 81. So this guy's going to join the San Antonio coach, right? And they lose 9-7 and 10. Unbelievable. So Feltner's the better pitcher, but we don't have enough data. 11 is a lot of runs. Colorado should get a lot of runs in this game. For Chicago. And not sure. Let's see. The Dodgers and Pitt. The Dodgers 164, 9.5. Robluski 239 against Mitch Keller 481. Keep in mind they beat Shotani. Shotani didn't last long yesterday. They had like a 6-1 lead, and then Pittsburgh won 10-9. So the bullpen's pretty good for the Dodgers, which always makes me lean towards the over in these games. Keller, I think Keller's on our list. No, I got Wheeler on the list. No, Robluski's good. He's got a 2.39 ERA. But if you beat Shotani, normally, now it didn't work. LA beat Skanes and then lost the next game. So you figure they beat Skanes, they're going to win. So I don't know what happened there. Robluski, no streak. He's not all that. Well, he had one bad game, 8 2/3, and gives up 7 runs to Atlanta. Then 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 innings, 5 runs, 7 innings, 1 run, 6 innings, shutout to Arizona. Arizona can't hit. He did pitch 100 pitches through 100 pitches. He gives up 7 runs, pitched 100 pitches. Wow. So he does give up some runs. Against Pittsburgh, he's going to give up some runs. Mitch Keller. Are you a bullpen guy? No, you're not. You're actually a real pitcher. 5 innings, 6 runs, 5 innings, 4 runs, 6 innings, 1, 4 innings, 7. And so this guy sucks. All right. All right, here's your free play. Let's go LA over 9. I'm leaning on LA, but this pitcher and Pittsburgh can hit. I mean, they got like 7 hitters. And the Dodgers 10, when they score a lot, and they should score on Mitch Keller here, 4-8-1, but he gives up 5-6 runs most of the games. So we're going to go over. Pittsburgh hit Shotani. They'll hit Robluski. And the Dodgers certainly should hit Keller. We could hit Keller. So double analyzing. Initially, it would be Robluski. But knowing the Pittsburgh lineup, and they just beat Shotani, I'm going to go over 9, 2 units, free play. I like Pittsburgh this year. A lot of hitting. Go through their lineup. It's like 300, 290, 300, all the way down. Like, 7th hitter, he can hit. 8th hitter can hit. Seattle, Baltimore. Well, we got Rick Flair going against Bradish. Seattle minus 112, 8.5 at Baltimore. Baltimore won yesterday. Rick had a tough time against the Tigers last time out. From Oakland. He's a Raider guy. All right. We like him. That's why we like Ric Flair. Last 6 innings shutout, 6 innings 2, 6 innings shutout, 4 innings 4, 7 innings shutout. And what the fuck happened with the Tigers? Unbelievable. 9 hits and 5 runs in 6 innings. But you never know which Tiger team you get. Okay, so except for that, he gave up 4 runs to Kansas City of all teams, who's a mystery. Maybe they hit, maybe they don't. And then he had a 6 and a 7 run game against St. Louis and Kansas City in April. So he was good until he played the Tigers. In Baltimore with Bradish. And Bradish, last 5. We'll go last 6. 7 innings, 3 runs, 6 innings shutout, 5 innings, 2, 6 innings, 1, 7 innings, 1. And then he gave up in 4 innings, 5 runs to Toronto last night. So he's mowing. So he beat Toronto 9-5 on a 7-hit, 1-run game. And then he plays them again, and he gives up 4 innings, gives up 5 runs. So yeah, you can't like judge how they play other teams because it doesn't make any sense. They did it with Tampa twice back to back, gave up 1 run, 2 runs. So his worst outings is he's had 2 5-run innings, 1 to the Yankees and 1 to Toronto, even though he had a 4-hitter against Toronto the week before. So really strange. His ERA 3.89. He's normally a good pitcher. 2.83, 2.75, 2.53 the last 3 years. So this is a good pitcher against Ric Flair. Rick's pretty good most of the time. I don't know. Any suggestions? I'm thinking under, but I don't know. They can hit. Baltimore can score. I don't know. I'll leave this alone. It's a tough day. Atlanta against the White Sox. Mr. K, we like Mr. K. Atlanta 113, 8.5. Martin Perez 3.26 goes against AK 4.50. And let's see. K is he's won 5 in a row. I got to update it from the last time, and he did the same thing to us. So he's 5-1 now. All the streaks kind of ended last week, right? The guy's got 6 in a row, winning or losing, and he does the opposite. And here K was 5-0, and he loses. It's crazy. So K, yeah, I mean, if you look at K, 1 run, 2 runs, 1 run, 1 run, 1 run, and then he gives up 6 runs to the Phillies, which we kind of could smell out. And here we got Atlanta who can hit. Martin Perez, Martin Brodeur. I don't know what he is. 1 inning shutout, 1 inning shutout. And then his last 4, 5 innings, 4 runs, 5 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 2 runs, 5 innings, 3 runs. All about 80 pitches. He does have a lot of walks. His ERA 3.02, 3.54 last. Oh, he's on the White Sox last year, and 5.20 on Pittsburgh and San Diego. He's trying to get every team. Look at this guy. Now, he's on Texas for 7 years. 4 ERA pitcher, 6 to last year. Then he goes to Minnesota, 5 ERA, Boston, a 5 ERA, Texas, 2.89, and then 5, and then San Diego, 3.46, Pitt, 5.20, the White Sox, 3.54, and Atlanta, 3.02. So we're going to say he gives up runs. We looked at K. Now I'm confused, so let's go back to K. And K's got a pretty big ERA normally also. K's last 5, 2 runs, 1, 1, 1, and 6. He had given up 8 and 4. So what we're going to do here, okay. Okay, so I got 5 games. Your freak plays the Dodgers over 9 with the Pirates. And that's it. It's a hard to see. What I don't like, this is like football when you got the Jets playing Tennessee. You're like, I don't want to bet. I mean, these guys stink. So you get LA Pitt. I can figure out the Bears in Colorado. I like the over, but it's 11, and the Bears and the Bears aren't hitting. KC Texas. I kind of like Texas, but again, the total's 10.5. Maybe that's a little high. Minnesota, Detroit, Zebby Matthews and Montero. And Arizona, Miami. Again, these are the games I have no idea. Arizona, Miami, you don't know what you're going to get. And St. Louis and the Mets, probably an under, but Dobbins with the 6.75 makes it hard to go under. And Charlie Scott. So I only played 5. Your free play, take the Dodgers over 9 because we've got this wonderful hitting team. Both teams hit the shit out of the ball. And look what we got with Shotani yesterday, right? With Shotani, we got like a 9-8 game, right? A 17 with Shotani, which never happens. I was going to bet the game under, and I said, no, Pittsburgh can hit too much. I thought Shotani would win. So what do you do with Shotani today? He just pitched yesterday. You're going to have him as DH? Do you think he's got any energy left? Why do the pitchers need four off days till they pitch again? Because they're wasted. So you're going to have Shotani. I say he doesn't get a hit today because he's exhausted from pitching yesterday as poorly as he pitched. All right. Let's go back to the NBA. All right. The Knicks lead the series 3-1, which is unbelievable. San Antonio should lead the series 3-1. There's no excuse. San Antonio laying 5.5. Total of 216. So of course, the one game we go under goes over. All the other games are under. It's just uncanny that under. Okay, we'll bet under goes over, and then the next game goes under. Even with that comeback. All right. Knicks at the Spurs. New York leads 3-1. San Antonio minus 5.5. This is an automatic San Antonio. I'm doing 2 units is all. They had them beat game 2 and they had them beat game 4. And they did win game 3. I don't know. It's hard because this coach and Winnebago are so stupid. It's really hard to understand. This is the problem when you get a guy from France, Winnebago. Did he go to college? Or did he play in France? Does he not understand basketball and he's 7'4"? Whoever coached this guy in college has his head up his ass. First and foremost, you've got to explain that you're 7'4". You don't play like the rest of the players. Anyway, but I want to get to some good gold talk. So take San Antonio, lay 5.5. This game is Saturday for some reason. I thought it should be Friday, Sunday. You want the Sunday audience. That's when the Super Bowl is. Hello? Why would you have game 7 be Tuesday? Who's watching it then? All right. Let's check our gold real quickly and hope it's still near 4,100. Wow. All right. We're hanging in there, 40.83. What I'm most important is the streaks ended. This whole the whole thing was down from like 10 o'clock. The angle was just slanted down, right? There was no ups. At least now we're getting some ups. We got the 10 o'clock drop, but now it's 40.83. I think we're done dropping. They've gotten out of their options. The margin calls, God knows how many times they do margin calls. But now I think we're going to see silver 64 again. It was 62 or something. 40.83. I think we'll see today's Thursday. I think tomorrow we'll see 4,200, something like that. Well, we should see 4,100 today, and then we have seen it. It was 41.10 here. So it's a good sign. It's moving back up. Now there's one thing I want, and then we're going to show the video. So I asked the question, why is gold dropping? We know it's options in that, but I wanted to get a feel here. Gold prices are falling due to rising expectations of a U.S. interest rate hike. Following strong jobs data, we're in a recession, and elevated inflation risk linked to the U.S.-Iran conflict, investors are shifting from non-yielding bullion to high interest rate assets. Does that make any sense to anybody? What that says doesn't make any sense. You can't do a rate hike because it'll kill the economy. Following strong jobs data, which is manipulated by the government, so you don't know that, you can't trust that. And elevated inflation risk. How can you have elevated inflation risk? The inflation is huge right now because it's money printing, not prices. So what they're really saying is, since the prices are going to go up, linked to the war, so since gas prices are going to go up and food prices are going to go up, I'm selling my gold. Because they don't even understand is inflation's the money printing. So if the inflation's up, means the money printing's up, means the dollar's worth nothing. Oh yeah, I wanna, are shifting from non-yielding bullion, which yields a whole lot, as we know, to high interest rate assets. What's a high interest rate asset? A bond? It's not a stock. Stocks are not high interest rate assets. I'm putting my money in bonds and getting out of gold, even though the dollar is worthless, because you're telling me there's high inflation. So as prices go up, don't I want to be in something that's solid, like gold and silver, that will protect my money from the dollar dropping? Because you're calling it high interest rate, high inflation, but you really mean high prices. So I don't want to be in the dollar because it keeps losing value. And if the prices are going up, I need to be in something that's going to hold value, which is gold and silver physical. So what the fuck are they talking about, right? Gold prices have retreated more than 20% from their January all-time high. Several key economic, I can't wait for this, and geopolitical factors are driving their recent down. It's called JP Morgan and the bullion bank shorting down. But what do they say? Interest rate hike expectations. You're not getting higher interest rates. Trump put the guy in the Federal Reserve to lower the rates, to lower the interest on the $40 trillion debt. Strong U.S. labor market. When did it become strong? Aren't they doing AI and firing everybody at Pepsi, at GM, at Ford, and all these companies? Aren't they laying off all these workers? What high U.S. market? And persistent inflation have increased the likelihood the Fed will raise interest rates. That ain't happening. The cost of holding non-yielding assets like gold, it just goes up $1,000. Why are you looking at gold like an interest bearing when it's undervalued? And what do I want to? So I want to be in bonds. So what are you saying? I want to be in bonds and get 3% of something that's monopoly money versus being in a real asset, gold and silver, and watching the price go from 4,000 to 10,000. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. How about geopolitical impact on energy? Energy. While gold is typically a safe haven, it's always a safe haven. The current conflict with Iran has triggered energy supply bottlenecks. What are they talking about? Analysts at Barron's note that supply-driven energy shocks can push bond yields higher, causing investors to prioritize interest-bearing protection over bullion. You really want to be in bonds. You understand they have a $40 trillion debt that they can never pay back, and you want to go into a bond which you can never get paid back on. Oh, but gold doesn't do interest. Yeah, but the gold price goes up when it's not being manipulated by the JP Morgans, and that's about to end, as we're going to watch in this video. Oh, stronger US dollar. The US dollar has gained nearly 4% since last January against other currencies, but it's still worthless. It's absolutely worthless, the US dollar. You can't print it and keep value. It has no value. Oh, but it's gained 4%. What, against the euro, the won, the yen? What, against whom? That's not real. Because gold is priced in dollars, it doesn't need to be. A stronger greenback, it's not a greenback, it's the US dollar, makes the metal more expensive for international buyers, reducing demand. You think it works like that? There is no, it doesn't matter what the cost is. You have to get out of your dollar, your yen, your won, your British pound, your euro, and get into gold. There is no, it costs too much. You don't, because you can buy a quarter ounce or a half ounce. You don't have to buy an ounce. But why would you want to be? But because it's a stronger dollar, it's not a stronger dollar. The dollar is worthless. It didn't now have a value. It's a $40 trillion debt. You're not raising interest rates. What a bunch of horseshit this is. Liquidity needs. According to Morningstar, some investors are selling gold to cover margin requirements for other asset classes. That's the only one I will kind of listen to, as that makes sense, but I'm not sure I'm selling my gold. Although I'm selling my gold for that, but 1 ounce, not anything too much. Technical breakdown. This is bullshit. Gold recently fell below its 200-day moving average for the first time. It's manipulated. They shorted it. It's not a stock. A signal used by many traders. How many traders are there that have any brains in their head that are trading gold and silver, that aren't in the stock market or Bitcoin? Used by many traders that the long-term uptrend has stalled. No, the banks are shorting it. That's all you need to know. There's 8 billion banks. They're shorting it to get out of their options. There's some margin calls, and they want the price lower because they want you in the stock market. Got nothing to do with 200-day moving averages. All right, so I wanted to share that with you. This is the bullshit they say. Well, gold doesn't produce, there's no interest in gold. There's no interest rate. You know, the stock, it went from 2,000 to 4,000 to 5,000. Do I need interest? Do I need interest on that, or just the fact it's so underpriced it's a joke? I still call for gold at 10,000 and silver at 1,000, probably more. And that's just as it moves. Wait till it, as it gets there, it'll be higher. Gold will hit 25,000, but it's got to hit 10 first. And I think China and Russia are really sick of this bullshit. And are sick of this bullshit COMEX Ponzi scheme, JP Morgan crap. Because it's not going down because of the market, of a demand reduction in demand. As I tell you, with stakes, they make stakes too high, nobody buys them, the price goes down. But that's not what's happening in gold. The price is up and people are buying it. There is no set price of gold that it's too high. Now it's 20, it's too high. Gold at 4,000, at 5,000, at 6,000 is not too high, because you don't even know what the physical price is. You've never had a physical price of gold. How can it be too high? Well, it ran up. Yeah, because the banks, are pushing it down, not the market. This isn't supply and demand. This is the banks getting out of their options. Fuck, it's a joke. All right. So let's go here. Now this is this guy's name is Ed Steer. He's a Canadian. I've never heard of him, but when you listen to him, he seems to understand what we're doing.
There is a place in the hills of Tennessee that the government used to call the Secret City.
Yeah, we
You know,
don't.
they've stated
right away. Ed Steer, great to have you back on Commodity Culture. Last time you were on the show, an unstoppable rush into gold and silver lies ahead, and in the aftermath, my guest today, Ed Steer, says prices will reach levels that most people would find unimaginable. When it comes to making a prediction, his response is pick a number for both metals, as he believes the decades of suppression has left precious metals markets completely disconnected from reality. And when that reality kicks in and the big commercial banks shorting the metals are forced to cover, he believes an event the late great Ted Butler once coined the bonfire of the silver shorts will take place. We're diving into that right away. Ed Steer, great to have you back on Commodity Culture. Last time you were on the show was in March when silver was at around $83, and we've largely chopped sideways since then, currently sitting at around $74 an ounce. Is this a healthy consolidation in your view, and what are the signs that you're watching that could indicate where the price is headed next?
Well, that's a really loaded question because, you know, this correction, quote unquote correction that we've had was totally artificial and brought upon by the 8 large commercial traders who saw that the prices of silver and gold were going parabolic in a short covering rally that would have been gone into the history books for the next 1,000 years. But rather than have that happen, they came in at the end of January and hammered the prices lower. So this quote unquote healthy correction is just another one of these wash, rinse, and spin cycles that we've seen where the prices run up and the boys come in and just hammer the prices lower. So, you know, we're in the middle of this wash, rinse, and spin cycle right now. And
so this is why people don't like gold for what he just said, which is the price goes up and then the bullion banks hammer it down. And that's why some people go, why should I buy it? The bullion banks aren't going to let the price run. And the reason is because they want you in the stock market. That's why, that's the problem. They can't tax you on it. They can't make commission on it. That's why the banks keep pushing the price down. However, it only works when nobody wants physical, and everybody wants physical now. So this is the key to it. So we're getting near the end. As I said in my title, it's about the end. It's about to explode. Yeah, Howard, we hear this. Everybody, oh, it's going to explode. And, you know, when? And they think it's like a stock. They think, oh, it's going to go up. Well, it doesn't act like a stock because in a stock, there's nobody on the other end pushing the price down. Although I would imagine JP Morgan probably does that also. JP Morgan likes Blue Star. So their game is about to run out. The little Ponzi scheme, nobody thought Madoff's Ponzi scheme would end. It did. Nobody thinks this Ponzi scheme will run out. It is. It's about to, because there's too much physical demand. And all the war does is make the demand for silver and gold even higher because it's very expensive. So you print a lot of dollars to pay for the war. And when does that ever work? That's how France had their big bankruptcy and Les Miserables in the late 1790s was they ran out of money. Napoleon's in Russia and they ran out of money and they went to Russia for their oil, basically. So what you're dealing with is the wars always bankrupt you. The Romans, French, the English, World War I, World War II. Everybody in a war, Germany, that's why they had the hyperinflation, was World War I. So these wars are very expensive. You got fuel, you got the the missiles, the men, the food, the gas, and the you need tanks, you need cars, you need planes and boats. Well, they don't just grow on trees. They're very expensive. You got to spend the money. That is inflation. You can't just print money. And that's the biggest thing I try to preach is you can't, if you just keep printing money, it goes to zero. That's where we're at. That's why you go into gold, not for any of the other reasons except for that. And now you have COMEX pushing the price down. So you think, how many people you think sold now that don't listen to us or don't listen to me, jumping out of gold? Oh, the gold's down to 4,000. I better get out before it goes to zero. And you can't. You have to understand it. What do you think the value of the dollar is? It is zero, right? It's lost 99%, as Egon says, but I still think it's 100%. I don't think it has any value. I don't think anybody wants it. Nobody wants our treasuries. And really, what do? We just print money. Nobody wants it, but we print it to pay the interest on the debt and to pay the government workers and the defense contractors and all these social programs. We're just printing money. Nobody wants it. We'll just print it. So that's the real problem. All right.
What they're doing is they're slicing the price salamis to the downside, trying to cover as many short positions as they can by getting the managed money traders, other reportables, non-commercial traders, and the small traders to puke up their long positions and go short. Now, we've seen this movie before countless times over the years, and this is just an extended version, if you want to put it that way, of what we've seen before. So they just keep pounding away, covering as many short positions as possible. And when that process is complete, and it will be complete at some point, then the stage will be set for the next rally. And to go a little deeper into this, starting in June of last year and running up until the Commitment of Traders report last Friday, the 8 large traders in silver have covered 43,000 short contracts. Okay. And they have their lowest short position on record, and the big 8 in gold have covered 88,000 short contracts since the 20th of January. So this wash, rinse, and spin cycle has been really, really good for the boys, and one of the reasons why the prices ran up so much. So I'm watching very carefully. The thing I'm really watching carefully is just how low can they get the prices before the non-commercial traders just aren't prepared to sell any more longs or go short anymore. And we're close to the bottom right now, as far as I'm concerned.
With the YouTube Music app, you can discover remix after remix after remix after remix.
Go short anymore, and we're close to the bottom right now, as far as I'm concerned.
I want to pick your brain on the premium in Shanghai versus the West, because you noted in a recent edition of Ed Steer's Gold and Silver Digest that the premium was recently at around 10% in Shanghai. What is causing that? We've heard all sorts of things online, from its VAT tax, but I actually dove deeper into this and found that wasn't the case. This was on top of the tax. Why does that gap exist in your view, and do you expect it to potentially accelerate and the premium to get higher in Shanghai?
Okay, well, you're absolutely correct. The VAT tax has zero to do with the silver price. That's a value-added tax on to the retail consumer when they purchase the stuff at the bullion stores, wherever it is. It's the same here in Canada. We have a value-added tax, which doesn't apply to silver and gold, but on retail sales, it's applied at the point of sale. So let's get that out of the way first. And as far as the premium is concerned, well, first of all, and most importantly, of course, the demand for silver in China is far higher than it is in North America. And the same goes for India. If I just digress for a second, they've stated recently, 6 months ago, that they're not going to be using the LBMA price or the COMEX price. They're going to set their own price of silver, and that's because for the reason that the demand for silver in India and China, the two largest, they're at least a third of the population of the planet. The demand for precious metals in those countries is extremely high. And so there's a premium when you buy this stuff in China or in New Delhi.
Okay, so we talked about oil The real barrel price is like $150, $200 per oil. In the real world, on the COMEX or whatever the oil equivalent of COMEX is, it's like $90, $91. So again, it's fantasy. The reality is 150. He just said it. That's the demand, and they're not going to use COMEX anymore. They're going to price it in their own based on supply and demand. I'm going to put this mug on, I want $25. Okay, I'll take it. Not letting COMEX price this at $2, but let the market price this at 25. So in the real physical world that we are trying to live in, it's going to be much higher because you're not going to get all the paper bullshit. That's China and India going to physical prices. I want to buy it, and this is what, I'm going to sell it for X, and you're going to buy it, and it's not going to pay any attention to COMEX because they don't have any of the physical anyway to sell. So this is much more what we want is this physical price because there's 4.3 million tons of gold and only 200,000 real physical tons of gold. So imagine what the price is on only 200,000 tons, not 4.3 million. Silver, 76 million tons, physical 1 million tons. That's it. So what are they doing with the other 75 million tons that they're making up out of thin air? And when people want silver and they need it for these weapons and the jewelry and money and the whatchamacallit, the solar panels, what do you think is going to happen? They're gonna need it. They're gonna pay for the physical price, and nobody in their right mind is going to sell silver at $70 an ounce when you can't find it, and there's huge demand. So coming from a pure economic standpoint with a little finance thrown in, when you have a small supply, as we do, and you have huge demand, which he just said, China and India, and I'm sure Russia too, huge demand, and I'm sure Dubai and Saudi Arabia and Brazil and everybody else, Japan and Korea and Vietnam, huge demand for silver. Anybody that makes things needs silver. And as these dollars become worthless, you're going to run to gold because you can't inflate it. So as you need the physical, the prices will go to the moon, which is what I've been saying for 6 years now. That's the key to it. Forget the COMEX and what I just read on Google, which was just pure bullshit. Well, interest rates are going to go up, so you want to hold bonds and not gold. The dollar's not worth anything. Oops, they forgot to mention that. Geopolitical, the gold ruins the dollar and makes it worthless. So that is, why would you want to be in dollars? And that's the problem. They still think you should be in bonds and stocks and get into dollars. And I say, get the fuck out of dollars, get into gold and silver. And that's the whole point. And the demand, so like I said, if China and India don't use COMEX and they're going to start pricing it on their own, you're going to have this huge disconnect of, first of all, there's not a lot of gold and silver in COMEX. And if India starts selling it at $200 an ounce for silver, and China goes to $300 or $400 an ounce, and here's COMEX at $70 fucking around with options. Oh, we'll sell 75 million tons of silver, even though there's only one ton. There's 1 million tons, not 76. And by the way, it wears out. So when you blow up a missile, that's it. The silver's gone. You can't replace it. Gold you can replace. Like I said, this could be Julius Caesar's. Maybe not. But if it's silver, I'm sure if they had silver back in Rome, it's probably gone, and that's it. All right.
And one thing about the silver premium, like you said and correctly said, it's 10% right now. It's been as high as 16, 17, 18% in the last 6 months or so. But one thing I can say is it's not always been this high. If you go back into parts of mid-2025 or late 2025, it was actually negative. Like it was selling for a discount for like a week or so, and then it shot back up into double digits again. And for large portions of 2018 to 2024, it's actually in single-digit premium. So, it hasn't always been that way. I've seen the chart. I had it up on my screen here a minute ago, and I've lost it now. But, it's been all over the map. But starting in 2026, the end of 2025, it shot into double digits, and it hasn't gone down. And you would think that with the silver shortage that they have, and that exists in the supply-demand deficit, that is probably going to stay double digits. And will it go higher? Maybe. Will it go lower? Possibly. It's just impossible to tell. But there's no question about it. It's a demand. It's demand in China and in India and places like that causes the premiums to be higher there than they are here.
I've spoken to a few people. Alistair McLeod comes to mind, Francis Hunt, who believes that increasingly the price of physical silver is starting to be set by China, and that the Chinese market is becoming more of a true reflection of the value of physical silver.
No,
Do you
not
think
yet.
we're entering a world where the price is set in the Chinese market and not in the West? And if so, how would that affect paper manipulation?
Okay, first of all, no, they're still using COMEX to kind of set the price, and they're a little bit more with physical. If there wasn't COMEX, the physical price would be much, much higher. So they're still kind of looking at COMEX and adding a little 10%, but nowhere near where the real physical price should be, because as I said, there's only 200,000 tons of gold, and they're manipulating the price with 4.3 million. And so that's the price that they start with and add a little bit, but they're not using physical price only at this point. They should be, but they're not.
Manipulation of the silver markets.
Well, I can tell you one thing: when the day comes that the prices of all commodities are set in China, which is one of the goals of the Chinese government, is that they want to wrestle the price of the price of commodities from the West over to the East. Right now, without exception, the price is set in the COMEX futures market in New York. That is where the price is set. The price that you quoted me when we came on air today, and the price you're looking at your screen right now, is not a Shanghai price. It's not an LBMA price. It is a COMEX price. That is a fact, and that hasn't changed, and it isn't going to change until China wrests control. And the moment that they get control of the price, then you're going to see the manipulation end, because there's no paper contracts traded in China. They're set on physical supply, and there's no futures and options market associated with silver and gold. And then we'll see what the true prices really are. But for the moment, and until that changes, the price is set on the COMEX. But someday, like I said, China is going to take control of commodity prices worldwide, which is where they should be set anyway.
Commodity Culture is hosting our first live boot camp Saturday, June 27th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to take an in-depth look inside my portfolio, A to Z.
Nobody cares.
Why I own it,
Why
what
do you
I'm
do
buying,
this?
what I'm selling, and the framework through which I'm viewing the commodities sector right now is geopolitical instability, global conflict.
Said, the silver started to rise, last year sometime, March, April, May, whenever it is, it started to edge higher. And everybody's looking and saying, my goodness sakes alive, this is really great. It got through 27, then 28, then 30, and everybody was getting ecstatic about it. One of the reasons, or the main reason, that silver and gold were rising at that time is because the commercial traders who are mega short gold and silver market, and all precious metals actually, were beginning to quietly cover their short positions. And of course, as they covered their short positions, that caused the price to rise. And I could see it in the Commitment of Traders report every week that the big 8 short positions in both silver and gold were starting to decline. And they continued to decline and decline as they covered more and more shorts. The price rose higher and higher and higher. And starting about the 1st of December, the speculators started piling in. That's when things started going parabolic. But even with that even the prices going parabolic, the big 8 commercial traders continued to cover their short positions right up to and including the Commitment of Traders report that we saw on last Friday. Right now, the short positions in the big 8 in silver and gold are the lowest on record. It is unbelievable to see where they are today. And like you said, and I'll just go back to January, if there was so much speculation going on and so much short covering going on by, like Ted Butler's bonfire, the silver shorts, that the price was going parabolic and it was going up like $5-10 a day. That if the powers that be, which means the big eight shorts, hadn't stepped in there and killed the rallies right when they had, we would have seen, if silver had been allowed to trade another 48 hours longer than what it was, we didn't see silver at $200, $300, $400, $500 an ounce. It would have been one of these panic short coverings where, the shorts would have burned in hell and the longs would have made their spectacular profits. And then anybody who's listening to this podcast knows perfectly well that, we would have a 3-digit silver price if it had been allowed to continue. As a matter of fact, I have Keith Dumeyer's 3-digit silver price T-shirt on right now as I'm talking to you, and that's where we would be right now. Would be some spectacular number. And sooner or later, that's where it's going to end up, because the short position of the 8 large traders has been shrunk down to almost nothing, but there's still a huge short position. I think the open interest in silver yesterday was like 101,000 contracts, which means there's 101,000 long contracts and 101,000 short contracts. And those shorts have to be covered one way or another. And the only way they can do that is to go into the market and buy a long contract. And that will start another short covering rally at some point. And with the 8 largest traders holding their lowest short positions ever, the chances are pretty good that they're not going to step in on the short side the next time the prices start to rally. So, things are looking really good for the future. Just a matter of how long it's going to take them to cover as many short positions as possible. And like I said, we're in this wash, rinse, and spin cycle now, which is getting very, very close to being completed. The only caveat to that is the fact that the other thing I'm watching very carefully and started watching recently in the last couple of weeks is that we've had a rising 200-day moving average in gold. And as the big 8 shorts have engineered the price lower to cover more and more shorts, we're in the 200-day moving average. And now that I see, the price trend is, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the powers of the boys, the big 8 shorts, are going to day moving average in their attempts to cover as many more shorts. And that will get even more long liquidation by the non-commercial traders as they decide, well, they're just not going to hold on to many more longs, or they're going to go short, actually going to go short to precious metals. So if they can accomplish that, then the mother of all lows. And I can tell you right now, even though I'm all in the precious metals, if they can get gold below 200-day moving average, I'm going to be stepping up to the plate and investing even more, because this price management scheme, Danny's been going on since 1975, and the demand for gold worldwide is just awesome. And sooner or later, this price management scheme is going to come to an end. And when it comes to an end, it's going to be at a time when the big 8 commercial shorts are going to be minimum short, and that time is very fast approaching.
Great breakdown. I'd love to dive into some price targets that some previous guests on the show have discussed for both gold and silver. First, I'd like to talk about Michael Oliver. He came on the show not too long ago. He said he believes silver's headed somewhere between $300 and $500 this year. Now, he follows momentum-based structural analysis. So he's a strictly technical guy, and these are what the charts are telling him. And he believes that not only will silver go to those levels this year, but that we will then be entering a new price reality for the metal, where that 300 around will act as a floor and will essentially be in a new price reality. I wonder what your thoughts are there, and if you have similar views as well.
Well, sure. I mean, we're going to have a 3-digit silver price, whether it be 300 or 500. It doesn't matter, and whether you use technical analysis like he does, or the facts that I'm looking at, we'll both end up at the same price target. So this is not a big surprise. But as Ted Butler pointed out over the last 15, 20 years, he says, look, you tell me what the big 8 shorts are going to do in silver and gold, and I can tell you where the silver price and gold price are going to do. If they decide to put their hands in their pockets and not go short on the next rally, $300-500 will be a reality within a week, okay? And pick a number on gold, okay? So one way or another, depending on what the big eight shorts do, we're going to see a three-digit silver price is both required and necessary because of this structural deficit. So, 300 to 500 is, a nice price. You're waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. And so is everybody in this broadcast listening, waiting for it too, And when the big eight shorts decide, that's when it's going to happen.
And you kind of answered the question about gold already, but I'd just love to get your thoughts because I had Edward Dowd on the show, and he said he believes gold will be at $10,000 by 2030. Do you think that's too conservative of a target?
Yes, and it's going to get to 10,000 long before 2030. That's my opinion, because when they let these things go and they decide that I wouldn't call it repricing so much as, nobody knows what the true free market prices of silver and gold are. They have never been allowed to trade freely in all of recorded history, let alone our own lifetimes. So nobody knows what their prices are, look at the world central banks. They're gobbling up gold at a 1,000-ton a year rate for the last 4 or 5 years. It isn't showing any signs of slowing down. So the demand is huge, and it's unrelenting, and paper currencies are heading into the toilet across the board, and the rush from paper assets into hard assets it's on in earnest now, and there's just no way to stop it. And the only way to slow it down any is to let the price run up so it becomes prohibitively expensive. And I have no trouble with $10,000 gold, but I think it'll be here long before 2030.
Where should you invest $100 today? Well, according to Elon Musk,
$10,000 gold, but I think it'll be here long before 2030.
Well, you mentioned central bank demand. It's been reported recently that gold has officially overtaken U.S. Treasuries as the largest reserve asset globally. I've also heard this was reported earlier. Supposedly this data is as of the end of 2025. But nonetheless, do you think we're witnessing our monetary paradigm shift in action? And assuming this trend continues, could this spark the next leg up in this gold bull market?
Well, absolutely. I mean, this shift has been going on for a long time. Well, I remember back in 2000, I was paying, $5 an ounce for silver and $280 an ounce gold, and I was buying silver because I thought $280 for gold. I said, who wants to buy it at that price? And every time I go to bed, I think about, Lord, give me that day back just once.
See, that's what people are missing. It's not that you value gold and go, oh my God, it's $4,000 or $5,000 and say, oh, it's too expensive. It's not too expensive. You're buying it to get out of this horse shit. It doesn't matter. This is worthless. You cannot print and print and print and think this has a value. So if this doesn't have a value, you need to buy gold. It doesn't matter what the price is. There is no, it's too expensive. It's I got to get out of dollars. And this is what everybody misses. You have to get out of the dollar. As this guy just said, the dollar's bullshit, right? All the fiat money is bullshit. Okay. So imagine the demand of the whole world needing gold. And there's only 200,000 tons, of which most of it's already in Russia, China, and BRICS hands. It doesn't matter what the cost is. You have to buy it because you need to live and you need to pay for food and you need currency. You need the medium of exchange to buy the goods. That's the exchange. The exchange is, I'm going to give you this, you're going to give me food, and I'll eat. You're going to give me clothes, you're going to give me glasses, you're going to give me coffee mugs, you're going to give me keys and a wallet and a cell phone, but I need to pay for it, and I need a medium of exchange, which is going to be the money, which will be gold and silver, like what BRICS is doing when they got gold-backed currency now. They need the gold to hold the value of their money, and that's the key. So it doesn't matter. And I've been saying this too, we don't really know what the real value of physical gold and silver are. It's never been priced. We're only looking at this bullshit JP Morgan Ponzi scheme that is our only option. We don't really have an option of it. It's just they're fucking around, but that's what they do. So we need to get out of that. But that's the key to it. So it doesn't matter what gold is. You don't really have a choice on the value. You just can only buy so much because your paper money you're fucked in the banks and the stock market and the Bitcoin, and you're fucked because you were in paper and you got to get out of paper. And so once you get into gold, it's whatever I can afford. That's why I buy up all my money into gold and silver, because I'm buying it at 1,800, 1,900, a little bit at 22, 2,300. Haven't bought it since, because I'm basically out of money and into gold and silver. I bought some when I was at Tenneco. I bought about 6 or 7 ounces with my paychecks, which I'm very happy I did. But that's the thing. Now, how much do we need to really survive? Well, if you can hold on to it, you probably need 25, 30 ounces, and you'll be a very happy, rich man, because an ounce is going to buy you a ton, right? Because, again, everything's priced in monopoly money. Silver, the same thing. I would just keep buying. Silver's a steal at $65 an ounce with this bullshit. But that's the point. Let them do this. Fine. It's a huge sale of the century buying opportunity. You'll never see this type of buying opportunity in the rest of your life. It's such a no-brainer. And that's the point. Oh, well, it's going down. It's going down because of the JP Morgans are putting they're making money on the options. Not because of physical silver or gold, which we don't know what the price is, and they're just making money selling the options. But at the end of the day, Russia and China and the rest of the BRICS guys are going to say, fuck you. We're going to make our own price. And if the miners ever had enough intelligence to say, we're not selling it to you at 65, the miners control it, but they're too stupid to do it. They're probably on the take. JP Morgan probably pays them $1 million, and they go, well, okay, we'll take whatever. Anyway, that's the thing. Gold and silver are never too expensive because we don't know what the real value is, because it's never been.
Okay, so the rush is on. It is now unstoppable. Okay, everybody knows, even at the Federal Reserve and the European central banks and the Japanese Bank of Japan, everybody knows that paper is dead. Okay, and the rush into hard assets has begun in earnest. It's unstoppable. And the trend will continue.
Paper's dead.
Like I said, it's unstoppable. What did Thomas Jefferson say about it? Paper is poverty. It is but the ghost of money, not money itself. Well, that's playing out real time right in front of us now as this fiat currency comes to crashes and burns, and it's happening right in front of us. So, will this start the next leg up in the bull market? Would like to think so, but like I said, and like Ted Butler said, when the big 8 traders decide, that's when it's going to happen.
There was a lot of talk of auditing Fort Knox earlier in Trump's presidency. He then made a cryptic remark in some interview that it might be stolen, and since then the trail has grown very cold. You have Ron Paul pounding the pulpit trying to get something going, but nonetheless it's been a lost cause, or so it seems. However, just the other day, Trump revived the idea on Truth Social and posted about doing a full audit. Do you think this is a real possibility? And if there was an audit, do you think the officially stated gold reserves would actually be there?
Well, everybody's dream is to have Fort Knox and West Point audited to know if what's really there and if it's all there or not. But to tell you the truth, in all honesty, as much as we would like it to happen, I would like it to happen, you would like to happen, is in reality, the powers that be just aren't going to allow it. And there's 2 reasons for that, I would think. First of all, if I had to bet my proverbial $10 on it, if all the gold is there, I would say that it's not. And secondly, even more important, as I and other people have pointed out over the years, how much of that is actual gold that's sitting there is actually encumbered, has got paper written against it that's out on a swap or a lease or whatever. Nobody knows how much of that is encumbered in any way. And the other thing I'll point out is that a large portion of it is not in good delivery form. It's coin melt from the gold confiscation of Roosevelt back in 1933. So, when you take a look at Fort Knox on the whole, what you see there is not good delivery. Like if you go into, say, China or England or London or wherever, all the stuff that they hold in their inventories is good delivery form, but the United States gold reserves, are very tainted as far as I'm concerned, and an audit, I won't live to see it, nor will anybody else who's listening to this podcast right now.
Another narrative that's been circulating, of course, is the demise of the US dollar, that it will lose its reserve currency status, and that the petrodollar is under threat. More recently, China selling oil for renminbi. Some are speculating that that's a part of the reason that the US actually went to war with Iran. Of course, we hear the dollar could be set up to enter hyperinflation at some point. You cover the dollar index in your letter and the strength of the US dollar. Could you help us separate signal from noise here and give us your current view on the health or lack thereof of the USD?
Well, we could have a whole podcast on that, but just simply put, is that the United States U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency, and it's not going to change anytime soon. Although it is slowly heading for the exit, because as you pointed out, the other currencies are fighting to get their market share, especially the Chinese renminbi or the yuan, whichever you prefer to call it. And the China's made no bones and very public about it, is that their plan or goal at some point is to have the yuan or the renminbi as the reserve currency of the world. They've got a long way to go to do that, but that's in the works, and it's part of this attempt by the BRICS nation, of which China is the leading member, to get out from under the hegemony of the United States, whether it be political, financial, monetary, or militarily. They just say, we're tired of Pax Americana and the American empire, and we just want to get the hell as far away from it as possible. So they're doing everything in trade and currencies and payment systems, the whole 9 yards, just to get out from underneath this. And the war in Ukraine and the war in Iran are all part and parcel of the Anglo-American Western, hegemony, trying to derail this shift of economic and political monetary power that's shifting from the West to the East. The West has been in dominance for the last 500 years, so whether it be the Portuguese or the Spanish or the German or the Dutch or the Italian, and then the British, and now the Americans. They've dictated the terms to the East, and everybody else. It's South and Central America and the Far East and Africa for the last 500 years. And finally, these BRICS nations, of which a lot of power now, China, Russia, India, 20 years ago you wouldn't be saying this, but now they've risen from the ashes. And they said, hey, we're tired of this, and we're going to go our own ways. And this is what we're going to do. And I'll tell you what, after 500 years of Western domination, and now that the internet's come along and I've learned as much as I have, I'll tell you what, the West time in the sun is setting. And this is what the fight between the East and the West is now, whether it be in the currency markets or in the financial markets or on the battlefields in Ukraine and in Iran. It's a fight of a declining West against a rising East, and the dollar index. The dollar is just going to be one of the casualties when this whole thing comes to an end.
What do you think about the closure of the Strait of Hormuz and the impact it's had so far on both energy markets and the global economy? And how bad do you think things could get? Because obviously there's a lot of jawboning coming out of the U.S. administration, but it seems like the war is on. There was a tentative ceasefire. Now we have seen both attacks from the U.S. on Iran. Iran has then responded by attacking Kuwait, and I believe Bahrain as well, some military bases. I believe they hit an airport, the Kuwait International Airport as well. At least that's what's circulating on X at the moment. How far away do you think we are from potentially getting this thing wrapped up? And assuming it drags on, the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, how bad do you think things could get for the global economy?
Well, first of all, anything I say would like about this would be wild-ass speculation, so I want to say that right up front. But one thing is for sure, okay, is that, we're slow walking into World War III, which is what we were talking about. I answered the previous question about the East versus the West, and that's what's happening right now. As far as the Straits of Hormuz, the Iranians are only letting through whatever ships they're allowing through. Anything that has going to U.S. or Europe isn't being allowed to go anywhere. As long as you pay your fee, you'll be let go. So, this is affecting the oil markets, obviously. I mean, I see oil's up again today, and The talk out there is that, there are enough reserves in the world and in Europe and Africa and Southeast Asia to last, till the end of June or part of July, and then we're already see the price increases. So, this is having an effect on the world economy, and not just, just on Iran and the Middle East. So I don't see this ending anytime soon. I expect this war to go on and on and on. So if you think it's going to be done by the end of June, end of July, by this fall, or by the winter, I think people are sadly mistaken. This war is not meant to be won. It's meant to be perpetual, as Adolf Huxley once said at one time.
Yeah, I completely agree. If I was to venture a guess, I would say we're looking at years, not months, in terms of the length of this conflict. I want to talk about government bond markets because they appear to be under some strain as we're seeing rising yields across the sovereign debt world. Is a potential crisis in that market on the horizon? And as investors and stackers in the precious metals space, why should we be paying attention to what bonds are doing?
Funny you should bring up the bond market, because I write about it in my column. I think it was it June or October of 2022 or 2023. The 10-year got up to 4.92% at the high, and since then they've beaten it down. They got it under 4 briefly, and now it's back up to 4.50. And the 10-year, the yield on the 10 years being protected at 4.50. They don't want it rising any higher than that because, look, U.S. has got $40 trillion worth of debt. And that applies to, how much debt does every other country have. So as interest rates rise, the cost on to maintain the debt, the interest rate on the deficit, more than the U.S. Military budget, something like that. So they're desperate to keep interest rates down. And I see that the 10-year made it up to 4.497 today. So you can see that they're protecting that level strenuously. But it's like everything else, Danny. The dollar index is being managed. The stock markets are being managed. Precious metals are being managed. The bond market yields are being managed. And as Chris Powell said, 20 years ago, he said, there are no markets anymore, only interventions. There are interventions, everything. Everything you see out there is a total hallucination, including the prices of silver and gold, which should be fantastically higher. The dollar index should have crashed and burned a long time ago, but they're keeping it propped up. And the interest rates on the 10-year, based on the debts being held around the world, not just in the U.S., should be well north of 5, 6, 7%. I remember back in 1980, and I lived through that because I remember well when interest rates hit 10, 19, 18, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19%. That was absolutely amazing. And of course, such an interest rate environment cannot be allowed to exist again, because that would absolutely destroy the financial system overnight. So, they have to keep these rates artificially low, regardless of what the inflation rate is or what else is.
So what I showed you, what I read you earlier was, they think interest rates will go up, so sell your gold. It's just horseshit. But he just nailed it. Everything's manipulated, which is what I keep saying. The stock market is not 50,000. Gold should be 15, 20,000. Silver should be well over 1,000. And they keep manipulating this. It's such bullshit that we don't have free markets. And that's why I teach you so much about free markets. It's what the market will bear. The steak's for $20. If this is the government, the steak would be at $2. And the butchers would be out of business because they can't sell it they can't make money at $2. So you can see oil's manipulated, the gold, everything's so manipulated. So when you look at even an unemployment report or inflation, it's all bullshit. The government can't be trusted. But yet, if you say something against the government, you're a conspiracy theorist. And yet, we just heard everything they say is a lie. It's all bullshit. Trump's saying he's negotiating with everyone. He's not. They're not talking to him. They don't like him. His guys, Kushner and the other guy, are a bunch of idiots that just are in it to make money. They're just, what are they, real estate guys. So understand all that. Just don't believe what you're hearing from the government, because it's just lies. It's always about getting elected and stealing the money and all that, and they don't realize the money's worthless. That's why you own gold. And when you hear Warren Buffett say, well, it's just a paperweight, that doesn't, he's a bigger idiot than the San Antonio coach. All right, a little bit more. Where are we at? Okay, about 5 more minutes.
Going on in the world economically or monetarily.
Now, there's going to be people listening to this who've heard you talking about the manipulation of gold and silver and how long it's been going on for manipulation in the
Since
bond markets,
1970.
across the commodities markets, through futures contracts, etc. And they're going to say, well, what's the point? The whole game is rigged. How is this ever going to end? Because we're now also seeing absolutely blatant insider trading happening at the highest levels of politics in the United States, with Trump literally sending out a Truth Social post, moving markets one way or the other, and people taking massive positions who would have to be insiders, so somebody he's directing or who is close to him. Now, of course, we know all about the U.S. politicians becoming spectacularly wealthy off of insider trading throughout their careers. Nobody's doing anything about it. So I think a lot of the average person's mentality in that is, what's the point? This is a rigged game, and the manipulation's never going to end. I can already read here in my mind and see the comments that are going to be left down below whenever this conversation comes up. So what would be your answer to that? How is this game ever going to end?
Okay, let's look at this from the 30,000-foot altitude. First of all, empires. I don't care whether it's the Roman Empire or what empire it is that has ruled the world over the last 2,000 or 3,000 years. When they reach their zenith, they become corrupted at the highest levels. And if you want to take a look at the specific one, let's take the Roman Empire, where I can't remember what Caesar, he nominated his horse for the Senate. Okay, now we've got Mr. Trump building golden idols to himself in Florida. I mean, when you see that, I mean, you should scare the shit out of anybody. Okay, so this is what happens when empires reach their peak, when the corruption is the rot in the U.S. government and the financial system in the West. I'm not just talking about the U.S., I'm talking about everywhere. Okay, the Epstein deep state class that has now taken over the West, is corrupt to the core. And that's always the sign of the end of empire. And so it's just, we don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be Hemingway slowly at first, then suddenly, but, we're sleepwalking our way to the end of, the West as we know it and the financial system as we know it. And as far as those people say, well, it's rigged against me and I don't want to invest, I'll tell you what, I heard the same thing when I was buying silver for $7 an ounce and gold for $250 and $350. And I stopped buying gold at $800 an ounce. So that's it. I remember buying a 1 ounce, $20 gold piece in New Orleans at the gold show down there at Blanchard's Gold Show back in, I don't know when that was. And I put it on my credit card. I said, oh my God, I hope I'm doing the right thing. And I took it back home. I stuck it in the drawer. And I look at it now and said, God, if I'd known then what I know now. So Lord, please let me have that day back. And I say that about a lot of things. And everybody looks at their portfolio and said, if I bought this when it was back at 70 cents and now it's $14, so, we're just in a 9-inning ball game. We're top of the second inning at the most. So, there's still lots of room for this to run, but the only thing we don't know is what the big 8 shorts are going to do and how long a time period this is going to go over. But, a year ago, if we'd been talking about this, silver would have been at $27 and gold would have been at $2,000. We said, my goodness sakes alive, is it ever going to get any higher? Hey, I've heard this all before over the last 25 years, and I'm sure it's going to go on for a long time yet. But like I said, this has only just got started. There's lots of room for this to run.
Yeah, some great points there, because when silver was in the $20, $30 range, people were scoffing all the time in the comments of people calling for $50 silver, let alone 100, 120. So I think people need to get their recency bias out of the way. I want to end on gold and silver miners because they continue to look undervalued pretty much across the board. I found it interesting. The big gold producers such as Agnico Eagle and Newmont saw their stocks drop on the back of record earnings reports. And across the gold and silver mining space, The sentiment seems to be very negative right now. Do you think investors believe the gold bull market is in the later stages and these earnings will no longer be sustainable moving forward? Or are there other reasons the miners haven't been holding their own in this precious metals bull market?
This summer, I'm skipping
It's
phony
because
sales
it's all
and shopping
fixed and
styles
everybody's
that
in
real customers love
NVIDIA
Bob's
and
Discount
Tesla.
Furniture, where I can find quality pieces with thousands of 5-star reviews. So save big with Bob's, where America shops for furniture.
Market.
Well, you've opened a real Pandora's box here, and I don't want to get into it on this show, okay? But if you look back at the ratio of the stock SIL or SIL, it's a silver index, SILJ or SL whatever, versus the silver price, okay? And I have that chart going back 10 years. And you look at it, and there was a discontinuous event. It was more or less correlated up until the middle of September. And all of a sudden, the correlation fell out of bed. And it was obvious to me, okay? And if you look at the 2025 stats year on year, the gold shares outperformed the gold itself by 2.14x, okay? Whereas the silver stocks only outperformed silver by 1.17x. So there was something hinky going on. And it's my opinion that they've been managing this precious metal stocks as well, and that this has been going on for 6 or 8 months, and maybe even longer, but it's been obvious for a while that I believe that they're managing the share prices as well, although in the last week or so they may have backed off. But they got their nose stuck in everything. But as far as the mining shares, I don't care. You pick one. Pick any of the majors. And you were talking about Agnico Eagle, which is a wonderful company. And Newmont, okay, I don't think you can pick First Majestic Silver. Any of the majors, any of the the juniors that are good, solid producing companies, and they're selling for only a fraction of what they should be selling for. I think right now they're selling for about 1 point something times earnings, or 1 point something times the price of silver, and they should be selling for far more than that. So as far as I'm concerned, the precious metal prices are a real bargain at the moment. And how long they're going to stay that way, I don't know. But when we have the next big rally in the precious metals, no question about it, they're going to catch a big bid.
Tell us about Ed Steer's Gold and Silver Digest.
Okay, well...
That's it. Okay. So there you go. I thought that was I never heard that. I might have heard him once, but I thought he had a lot of good ideas, which coincide with my good ideas. So let's see. So again, our free pick today in baseball is take the Dodgers and the Pirates over 9, 2 units, just a regular bet. I don't have a 3-unit today. I only played 5. It's a travel day. Gold right now is that's current 40.82. It did get to 41. Seems to be getting capped there, and silver 64 seems to be getting capped there. So once we break through 41 and 64, we'll hopefully get back to 4,500 and back to 70, which we will. Don't worry. Again, as this is just manipulated, which we understand. Huge demand by India, China, Russia, who want to buy physical gold and silver. So this is why we just hold it. And really, you don't have any other options. You certainly aren't going to go back into these monopoly monies, right? This is all monopoly. You can't be back in this. These have no value. You only have the lifeboat, and the only lifeboat's gold and silver, but they're manipulating the prices with these options. So we understand that. So you're like that. So 40, 83, and 64. Okay, that's good. Basketball, we are going to play San Antonio tomorrow. Again, the coach has to be fired for you've got to fire the coach. The coach is just too stupid on He doesn't recognize he's got a guy who's 7'4", and so you've got to fire him. So that's where we're at. And that's about it. So don't panic with gold and silver. It's going to go to the moon. It's not, nothing has changed. This is paper, gold and silver, these options and COMEX. And as he said, India and China want a physical market. They're tired. If you're selling gold, do you want to sell it for $4,000 when you know it's worth 10 to 20? Hell no. Again, I'm only selling 1 ounce because I need cash, because we're still in a cash society. Even though this is worthless, it still pays the bills. I want to go up north to the lake and all that. And so I need a little bit of cash for that. Otherwise, I'm not selling. I'm not selling any silver, and I'm not selling the rest of my gold. It's not. Some guy asked me in the pool, well, have you sold any of your gold? And I says, why would I sell it? Well, you bought it at 1,700, it's 5,000. Yeah. And it's going to 10,000, and then probably going to 20,000. But what am I going to do? If I sell it, I got to get back into monopoly money, which I don't want to be in, because this is worthless. So it's like our little secret. We know it's worthless, but everybody else, well, as the guy said, everybody realizes it's worthless, but they keep, nobody can smell what they're cooking. They keep saying, oh, look at the stock market, look at Bitcoin, look at the bonds. Oh, they're going to raise interest rates. You don't get interest on gold, and the war in Iran is going to raise gas prices. And yeah, okay, but that's not inflation. Inflation's printing the money, period. That's it. Printing the money is inflation. You're inflating the supply, which makes it worthless. And you've already done that. These prices are just the market and prices. Like I said, they can't force you. I mean, why isn't Coca-Cola $10 a 2 liter? Why is it at $3? They can't sell it at 3. So they're going to sell it at 10. That's not going to work. So that's what you have, is you have these things where they don't really, it doesn't make sense, right? The market controls the prices. The Fed's killing the dollar, and they're keeping the price of gold and silver down, so you stay in the dollar, because they don't want you in gold and silver, because they lose control over you, and you can't print and inflate it. And so therefore they want you in the stock market, and you don't pay tax on gold. You're going to pay tax. You make money in Bitcoin, you're getting taxed. You make money in the stock market, you're getting taxed. They need the bond money so they can spend money. So basically, they're losing tax money by you being in gold, and they're losing control over you. And then when they go broke, you're broke. And now you need the government, because that's their number one thing, is you need us. We don't need the government. We just need like good laws. You've already fucked the money up. You've already taxed. You did tariffs. You did all the shit you shouldn't be doing. So none of that is good, what you're doing. This revalue of the dollar, I was watching a video on that yesterday, and it made no sense to me. You want to revalue the dollar, you back it by gold. You can't just revalue. Well, we'll have stable coin. Yeah, it's backed by dollar. It's backed by something that's worthless. You only want to be in assets. You want to be in a mantle card because it's a mantle card. You want to be in a Rolex, it's a watch. You want to be in gold and silver because they're gold and silver, and they're very limited. You only want to be in a dollar backed by gold and silver because that's what gives it the value. So if you're in dollars that aren't backed by anything, stable coins, Bitcoin, any of that, it's worthless. You don't even have to go 2 steps. Is it backed by something? No, then it's worthless. 1972 or 71, Nixon takes us off the gold standard. As soon as he did that, the dollar's worthless. Right then. That's what these guys don't understand. I was 13, 1972. I would have bought gold if I knew about it. Right then, that was the right play. But that was it. This is we know where we're going. We know we need to be in a lifeboat. We know the whole system's sinking, as he said. So sometimes I give you these videos to confirm what I already am teaching you, that I already know this and you know it. Anyway, so that should make us feel a little bit better that um, our gold and silver is going to be, think in terms of physical and COMEX is paper. So if you understand that first concept and you see the paper price going down because the banks are manipulating it, well, that's not gold. That's not physical. It's not my physical price isn't going down, only the paper prices. And it's good to buy. It's just when you're trying to sell, it's not a good thing. If you need, like me, I need cash, I got to sell. I'm not crazy about selling now when I know it'll be 6,000-7,000 soon, but I got to eat the bullet, or maybe sell a half an ounce and get $2,000 worth and try to do that. As opposed to selling an ounce now at these low prices. So I can figure that out. Anyway, I think that's about it. Time for lunch. I got to go refill my I've been getting gout a lot lately. I don't know if it's food or if it's weather or if it's watching the gold prices drop, but my foot keeps hurting, my toes, and it's frustrating. So I'm running out of colchicine, so I got to go to this clinic, and I can't just get it refilled. I got to go to the clinic, see the doctor, and say, refill my fucking prescription, thank you. And then I got to buy some more ibuprofen at CVS. It's like 100 pill thing for $20 or something, and it lasts you for a year. But I'm running low on both of those at the same time, so I need to run there and run to the pool. Anyway, that's what's going on. So San Antonio is, I believe, Saturday, and how they lost, they need to fire their coach. I'm sorry, he just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand how to win. You do not blow 29-point leads in game 4 of the finals. And if you do, you got big problems. You don't know what you're doing. And he clearly doesn't. He doesn't, they teach. I don't know. I got to watch the game because I didn't see the second half. They blew a 29-point lead. I'm assuming they just took a bunch of 3-point shots and missed them. They didn't guard the guy who was hot, and Winnebago doesn't know what he's doing. He's got to learn a sky hook. If I'm the coach of San Antonio, I'm calling Kareem. How do you do the sky hook? And he's going to practice it 8 hours a day. And when all you do is you get into the block, back to the basket, and you're gonna sky hook. If you want to do it, go work at the grocery store because you suck. You're not worth it. You want to shoot 3-point shots and you want to cover 3-point shooters. You're 7'4". You need to be in the lane. You do not want to be out at the fucking thing. It's like these guys that slow play poker hands. Yeah, it's a pair of kings. It's not very good after the flop, especially when an ace hits. So you can't think you got such a great hand and I'm going to slow play. And all that does is lose you money when you slow play like that. You got to know the guy you're playing. Let me put it that way. If you're playing Tom Dwan and he's really aggressive and he's going to be bluffing, okay, you can slow play him. But most of the normal people, you slow play me, I'm not going to fall for the trap because that's what you watch when you're playing. You see how the guy plays. Oh, he slow plays a lot. When he's got a good hand, he slow plays. When he makes a bet, he doesn't. And that's why you see these calls. You see the guy with aces and kings, and he's slow playing. Then all of a sudden, he comes out with the bet. Daniel Negreanu is perfect for that. He gets a hand, he slow plays, and when he gets junk, plays the 8 and 9 of diamonds, then he comes in for, whatever, 5,000 in his little game. Anyway, that's about it. So I will leave you with that. Take the Dodgers over 9 just because we like the Steelers offense. And Robluski's good. And he, it could be under, but I think Pittsburgh, when we get to the later innings, will score. And I think the Dodgers will have a field day on their pitcher. But again, they beat Shotani yesterday. So Pittsburgh, this should be a high scoring game. And that's it. Not a lot. There's not a lot of games. And, these Miamis, Arizonas, I don't know what to do with. and I don't want to force anything. All right, so it's been a pretty good week. A 3 unit day, a plus 3 unit day, plus 9, plus 10, and plus 3. So I made 25 units the last 4 days. Go team. This will be a small day. This is a 10. I'll be happy to go 3 and 2, possibly 4 and 1, and be happy with that. But tomorrow will be a better day. And that's this. If you want my baseball, www.teaserking.com, $25, and you'll get all these. You get all my games. I mean, here I'm giving you a free one because I do that with football. But to get the meat and everything else, you want to my locks and stronger plays, and especially for football, you want to get my plays there. All right. So anyway, www.teaserking.com. Have a good day. Do not. This is paper gold dropping, not physical. The physical gold has not dropped $1. In fact, it probably keeps going up as the demand by India and China is going through the roof. I can't see the price going down. The problem is you go to the store and they got to pay this $4,000 because that's what COMEX is pricing it at, and they're pissed. And that's what they want to do. That's why they're having their own pricing mechanism. But we need to kill COMEX. And COMEX is pricing it based on options. They're not pricing it based on supply and demand in a coin store, in a gold market, and anything like that. Like Singapore's got all the big gold stores. Well, they're not looking at supply and demand of, oh, everybody in Singapore is buying, so we can raise the price. They're sitting there fucking around going, hey, we can make $5 on an option. So that's where they're at. Anyway, I think that's it. Questions or comments before I leave, please let me know. I'm surprised Mahomes gets 500 million. I guess that's what, 10 years. So he'll be a chief for life. And no, prices going up are not inflation. So the oil price going up is not inflation. The food prices going up are not inflation. It's the market. It's all the market. Prices move in the market. And if prices go up, that's what the market. If you don't buy them, the price has to come down. And you see that going into Kroger's or Meijer's or Target or Walmart. It's all you see is all these prices going, 2 for $5, 4 for, you get 1 free. That's because they can't sell them. So nobody buys, they got to lower their prices. So that's really not inflation. Again, keep in mind, inflation is the money being printed and making it worthless. That's it. That's inflation. You're inflating the money supply. It's now worthless. We've been knowing that since Obama, probably Obama, but certainly when Biden did the $5 trillion for COVID is when it really hit me like a ton of bricks going, the dollar's worthless. And I searched for other places, and the only place to go is gold and silver. And that's when I bought. So keep that in mind. The government just prints and prints and prints, but nobody wants it. Nobody will buy our treasuries, and we're fucked. All right, I will leave you with that good news. So anyway, have a good day. I will see you tomorrow, www.teaserking.com. And good luck. And I would buy the shit out of gold and silver if I had any money left, but I've already done it. But silver at this 65 is a joke. And gold, anything under 10,000 is a steal. And it'll be there. The banks will run out. The banks are going out of business. People cannot afford their loans. That's what a bank is. They have money to loan it out, and they make money on the interest. And when people can't pay them back because of all the unemployment and the AI replacing jobs and everything else, that's what happens. All right, I will let you go with that. www.teaserking.com. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. All right, take care.